Japan's xenophobia is endless. Japanese hate China, but they don't know why. When you ask them for details, they look at you in shock and disbelief that you would even question them at all. For years, Japanese have complained to me about China. Here's the scenario. When I meet new people, they always ask me, "What country are you from?" And I give them a little challenge. I tell them I am from the #1 terrorist country in the world, and then I ask them to guess. Surprisingly, 85% of them guess correctly, and they say America, or War America, as I call my country. But then they immediately try to pivot to China for some reason, and I never bring it up. It's just, but China. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they continue trying to complain about China for some reason. Wait, what about this? Millions have been killed by Japan's friend, War America. And then I show them this image of a 2018 study showing that America has killed between 20 and 30 million people after World War II. But China, they say. And I ask them, okay, well, tell me about China. But they can't, because everything they say is not based on anything except fear and racism. If they are able to pivot to China hatred so quickly, surely they can explain why with evidence, but they can't. And if they try, it's just empty, fear-based hatred of China with no evidence. China has done nothing to Japan. And Japan's ally, War America, is much worse than China already. So how did Japan become so misguided and racist about China? Let's go through some common anti-China beliefs held in Japan to understand Japan's ignorance about China. First off, China is the #1 power in the world now. Japan is now down to 6th or 7th. So certainly there's some Asian jealousy going on here. Japan used to be the top dog in Asia. Now they're not, and they never will be. China is the strongest country in the world. Another reason is Taiwan fear-mongering. It's endless, and Japan is brainwashed with paranoia. Gotta keep buying weapons from America's terrorist death machine regime. Meanwhile, Japan supports the American death regime, killing millions and millions of people all over the world every year. Japan hosts War American military bases. What? China attacks no one in real life. Then there's this one. China tried to invade Japan 800 years ago. No, Mongols attempted to, but failed. Mongols are not Chinese. There's that too. Also, that was many, many centuries ago. Do you have anything in modern history? Even if China invaded Japan last week, China would need to kill more than Japan actually really killed in China just 80 years ago in World War II. Until that happens, Japan doesn't have a point here. China is the victim, not Japan. Japan always pretends to be the victim. The next point is China's Diaoyu Islands, which are falsely claimed by Japan. But Japanese historians themselves admit these are Chinese islands. And very old records for these islands exist in China, but no old records exist for these islands in Japan. China's doing military exercises in the China Sea. A new Chinese base is being built in the China Sea. Great. They can't be worse than War America, who's killing millions. Let's give China their chance and see if they do any better for humanity than War America and Japan. China can do whatever they want there. War America is much worse than China, and Japan supports that problem. War America is the #1 terrorist regime in the world, and they have military bases all over the world. Japan supports War America, killing millions all over the world. China does not do this. And China has no War American military bases in China. Safe. But what about the Muslim Uyghurs in China that Japanese people don't care about at all? Well, there's mosques all over China. In Chinese airports, there's Muslim prayer rooms. And don't forget, Chinese companies allow Muslims to pray during the workday. But let's get real. Japanese people don't care about Muslims at all. If Japan cared about Muslims, they would be complaining about America killing millions of Muslims all over the world. That's far worse than China. Re-educating Chinese Uyghurs to become Han Chinese while letting them live is much better than killing them. Tibet autonomy, the Dalai Lama, Japan doesn't care about that either. Japan is too busy helping War America kill millions to care about anything. It's moral hypocrisy across the board for Japan. Japan is at the moral bottom, trying to complain about other countries who are much better, morally speaking, for humanity. But this is not just from strangers I just met. It's also from Japanese people I know very well. Friends, romantic partners, co-workers, students. They all have the same unfounded paranoia. Japan is bad, but we don't really know why. They also pretend Japan is the victim. Everyone does in Japan. One friend complained, China subsidies are going to ruin Japan. Japanese people can't eat in the future. What the fuck are you even talking about? He's complaining about the automotive industry because the Chinese government subsidized their EV vehicles, and my friend works closely with Honda. So he's saying China subsidizing one industry is going to starve all of Japan. What? China can subsidize companies however they want, just like other countries subsidize their companies. Then I told him War America is the country hurting Japan, not China. Japan's prime minister is giving War America 5% of Japan's GDP, or $550 billion in contracts. So it's actually War America who will make Japan starving and homeless in the future, not China. China is the victim from Japanese terrorism and many other countries attacking China over the years. Japanese people are arrogant, and this really comes out regarding China. But when you scratch the surface and ask them for details, you quickly find out it's all bullshit and Chinese racism. It's Japanese racism and xenophobia fueled by War American propaganda.